Do you ever feel like your mind is a storm of endless to-do lists, worries, and notifications? Like you're caught in a current being pulled in a dozen different directions at once with no real time to just breathe? When life gets that noisy and out of rhythm, even the simplest things can start to feel completely overwhelming. Welcome back to Whispering Past for Sleep. Today we'll introduce you to an ancient Japanese ritual that can cure the overwhelm and anxiety brought on by modern life, improve your well-being, and help with better slumber. So let's get started. We live in a world that is obsessed with perfection. Our social media feeds are these curated galleries of flawless moments. Our careers demand constant, error-free performance. We're chasing the perfect body, the perfect home, the perfect life. And this relentless pursuit often leads to chronic stress, anxiety, and a paralyzing fear of failure. We get this idea in our heads that if we can just fix every crack, smooth every rough edge, and hide every single imperfection, we'll finally be happy. But the chase is exhausting because perfection is an illusion. It's a finish line that just moves every time we get close. This obsession leaves us feeling inadequate, constantly judging ourselves and our lives against an impossible standard. So what if we just chose to see the world differently? The ancient Japanese worldview of wabi-sabi offers a profound release from this pressure. Wabi-sabi is the art of finding beauty in things that are imperfect, impermanent, and incomplete. It's a philosophy that doesn't just tolerate flaws, it cherishes them as marks of authenticity, of character, of a life lived. Think about kintsugi, the Japanese art of repairing broken pottery. Instead of trying to hide the cracks, artisans mend the breaks with lacquer mixed with powdered gold. The cracks are highlighted, celebrated even, making the object more beautiful and valuable than it was before it was broken. The breaks aren't a source of shame, they are a part of the object's unique story. This is such a powerful metaphor for our own lives. Wabi-sabi invites us to accept our own cracks and imperfections, the wrinkles that show a life of laughter, the scars that tell stories of resilience, the mistakes that became our greatest teachers. It teaches us that these are not flaws to be hidden, but essential parts of what makes us whole and uniquely beautiful. So how do we practice this? You can start small, right in your home. Instead of stressing over a scratch on your dining table, see it as a memory of a meal you shared with people you love. Appreciate the way your favorite mug has faded over time. In your relationships, embrace the messy, unscripted moments instead of striving for some picture-perfect ideal. And most importantly, apply this to yourself. Let go of the need to present some idealized version of who you are. Wabi-sabi gives us permission to be content with what we have and who we are, right now in this imperfectly perfect moment. It's a gentle rebellion against the modern world's demand for flawlessness, and it offers a path to peace and self-acceptance. Let's be honest, our brains were not built for the world we live in now. We are hit with a constant tsunami of information, emails, breaking news, social media updates, ads. Our attention is shattered, pulled apart by 1,000 different things at once. This leads to a kind of mental clutter, a feeling of being perpetually overwhelmed and unable to truly focus. It's like trying to have a quiet conversation in the middle of a roaring stadium. This constant noise doesn't just make it hard to concentrate. It fuels a persistent, low-grade anxiety, that feeling that we're always behind, always missing something, and never truly at rest. The antidote to this mental chaos can be found in the profound stillness of a Japanese Zen garden, or karasansui. These aren't gardens in the way we might think of them, with bright flowers and lush plants. Instead, they are minimalist landscapes, often made of nothing more than rocks, moss, and meticulously raked sand or gravel. The white sand represents water, the raked patterns are ripples on the surface, and the rocks are mountains or islands. These gardens are basically mindfulness made physical. Their entire purpose is to eliminate clutter and quiet the mind. They are spaces designed for contemplation, inviting you to slow down, breathe, and find a sense of peace and pure simplicity. Take the famous Zen garden at Ryoanji Temple in Kyoto. It has 15 stones arranged in a sea of white gravel, but from any single spot on the temple's veranda, you can only see 14 of them. One is always hidden. The meaning isn't spelled out. It's up to each person to find it for themselves. Some say it means we can never see the whole of reality at once. Others believe the unseen stone represents that enlightenment comes from within. The point isn't the answer, but the act of wondering itself. The garden teaches us the power of ma, the Japanese concept of empty space. In a world telling us to fill every moment, ma reminds us that emptiness isn't nothingness. It's a space of potential, a quiet canvas that allows the important things to actually stand out. The monks who rake the sand each day aren't just cleaning up. They're practicing a moving meditation, focusing completely on the present moment in that simple, repetitive action. You don't need a huge backyard to bring this into your life. You can get a small desktop Zen garden and spend a few minutes each day raking the sand, focusing only on the movement and the patterns. Or you can just practice the art of subtraction in your daily life, declutter a room. Unsubscribe from all those emails you never read. Carve out 10 minutes of your day for pure, uninterrupted silence. By consciously creating empty space, we give our minds a chance to clear the noise, to settle down, and to find the calm that's waiting just beneath the storm. When was the last time you did only one thing? I mean, really just one thing. Not eating while scrolling through your phone, thumb top but and disarranging while scrolling through your phone. Not listening to a podcast while driving, not thinking about your to-do list while talking to someone you love. In our hyper-productive culture, just being present feels like a luxury we can't afford. Our minds are constantly rushing ahead to the next thing or replaying the past, leaving us in a state of perpetual distraction. This mental time travel is a huge driver of anxiety. We worry about a future that hasn't happened and regret a past we can't change. All while the present moment, the only place where life actually happens, slips by completely unnoticed. For centuries, Zen monks have practiced a form of art that is also a profound meditation, sumi-e or inkwash painting. Using only black ink, a brush, and paper, a sumi-e artist tries to capture the essence, the spirit of a subject with the fewest possible strokes. This isn't about making a perfect copy. It's about conveying a feeling, a moment, a truth. The practice of sumi-e is an intense exercise in mindfulness. Before the brush even touches the paper, the artist has to quiet their mind and become one with the subject. They observe it deeply, trying to understand its nature. Then, each brushstroke is a decisive, irreversible action. There's no going back, no erasing, no correcting. This demands absolute presence and focus. The artist has to be fully in the moment, letting the stroke flow from a place of intuition, not overthinking. The process itself is a meditation, a way to reduce stress and connect deeply to the here and now. We can apply the philosophy of sumi-e directly to our lives. It teaches us the power of single tasking. Choose one thing and give it your full undivided attention. When you eat, just eat. Notice the flavors, the textures, the smells. When you walk, just walk. Feel your feet on the ground and the air on your skin. This is the heart of mindfulness, a practice that science has shown can reduce anxiety and improve our well-being. You can try a practical exercise inspired by this. Take a piece of paper and a pen. Choose a simple object in your room, a leaf, a cup, a key. For 5 minutes, your only goal is to draw that object with a single, continuous line without lifting the pen from the paper. Don't worry about how it looks. The goal isn't the drawing, it's the process of sustained, unwavering focus. This simple act trains your mind to stay in one place, to resist the pull of distraction, and to find a deep sense of peace in a single, focused action. It teaches you that presence isn't just a passive state, it's an active choice that can turn any moment into a meditation. If any of these ancient solutions are resonating with your modern challenges, think about subscribing and joining our community. We explore timeless wisdom for today's world every single week. Let us know in the comments which of these practices speaks to you the most. Life is always in flux. Relationships change, careers take unexpected turns, our bodies age, and the world around us is completely unpredictable. For so many of us, this constant change is a source of deep anxiety. We try to cling to things as they are, to freeze moments in time and resist the natural flow of life. We crave stability and certainty in a universe that doesn't offer any. This fight against the very nature of reality, this desire for things to be fixed and unchanging, creates suffering. We get anxious about losing what we have and become fearful of what the future might bring. Zen philosophy doesn't just accept impermanence. It celebrates it as a fundamental truth. This perspective is captured perfectly in the art of haiku poetry. A haiku is a short, simple poem that uses brief, evocative images to capture a single fleeting moment in time. Think of maybe the most famous haiku by the master Basho, an old silent pond. A frog jumps into the pond. Splash, silence again. This poem isn't telling some grand story. It doesn't analyze or explain. It simply presents a moment. The stillness, the sudden sound, the return to silence. It's a snapshot of life as it is transient, beautiful, and profound in its simplicity. Writing and reading haiku is a practice in paying attention. It forces you to notice the small details of the present, the way light falls on a wall, the sound of rain on the roof, the feeling of a cool breeze. The practice of haiku is an antidote to the anxiety of change because it trains us to find value not in things lasting forever, but in the here and now. When we learn to truly see and appreciate the beauty of this single moment, our fear of the future starts to dissolve. We realize that life isn't a solid, static thing, but a continuous stream of these fleeting moments. The goal isn't to stop the river from flowing, but to learn how to appreciate the scenery as we float along. This is so incredibly accessible. Take a moment right now, just look around you. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? Try to capture that experience in just a few short lines. It doesn't have to be perfect poetry. The act itself is a meditation. Sunlight on the floor, dust motes dance in the warm air. The world is breathing. When you engage with the world this way, you're training your mind to stop fighting change and start participating in the flow of life. You're learning that every moment, no matter how small or ordinary, holds a universe of beauty if you just take the time to notice it. This shift in perspective is a powerful way to soothe the anxiety of an uncertain world. When life gets noisy and stressful, we often get angry. We get angry at traffic, at a critical comment, at our plans going wrong. But what are we really angry at? There's a Zen story about a man in a boat who sees another boat heading right for him. He shouts at the other boat, getting angrier and angrier as it gets closer. When it finally bumps his boat, he sees that the other boat is completely empty. His anger instantly vanishes. He was never angry at the boat. He was angry at this story he told himself about a careless person in the boat. So much of our modern anxiety comes from this exact same place, the ego. The ego is our sense of self, that story we tell about who we are. It's the part of us that feels personally attacked, that needs to be right, that fears being judged. It's constantly defending itself, which leads to stress, anger, and conflict. We spend so much energy protecting this idea of me that we end up feeling disconnected from everything around us. The core practice of Zen Buddhism is zazen, which literally means seated meditation. On the surface, it's incredibly simple. You just sit in a stable, upright posture and you pay attention to your breath. But this simple act is a radical way to learn to let go of the ego. As you sit, thoughts will absolutely come up. I'm bored. Am I doing this right? I forgot to send that email. The instruction in Zazen isn't to fight these thoughts or try to crush them. Instead, you simply acknowledge them without judgment and gently return your focus to your breath. You learn to treat your thoughts like clouds passing in the sky. You notice them, but you don't have to cling to them. You don't have to get on the empty boat. This practice creates a little bit of space between you and your thoughts. You start to realize that you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind the thoughts. With practice, the frantic, self-obsessed chatter of the ego begins to quiet down. You stop taking your own internal monologue so seriously. To try it, sit on a cushion on the floor or in a straight-backed chair if that's more comfortable. Keep your spine upright but not stiff. Your eyes can be kept partially open with a soft, unfocused gaze on the floor a few feet in front of you. Let your hands rest in your lap. Then, simply breathe. You can count your breaths from 1 to 10 and then just start over. When your mind wanders, and it will just gently guide it back to the count of 1. This isn't about achieving some mystical state. It's just about getting familiar with your own mind. The founder of Soto Zen, Dogen, said that Zazen is good for nothing. What he meant was you don't do it to get something, not enlightenment, not even relaxation. You sit just for the sake of sitting. And in that good-for-nothing space, a profound shift can happen. The ego relaxes its grip. You start to feel more connected to everything, and the anxieties that are rooted in the ego's fear and desire begin to fall away. We started by asking what if an answer to our modern anxiety had roots and practices from centuries ago. Through the lens of Zen, we've discovered that this is not just a nice idea, but a practical reality. We've seen how the philosophy of wabi-sabi can free us from the impossible chase for perfection by teaching us to find beauty in our real, imperfect selves. We've explored the quiet of the Zen garden, which shows us how to fight mental overload by embracing simplicity in empty space. The focused practice of sumi-e ink painting gives us a path back to the present moment, an antidote to our distracted minds. The art of haiku teaches us to embrace the flow of life, finding joy not in holding on, but in appreciating each fleeting moment. And finally, the core practice of zazen gives us a direct way to quiet the ego, the source of so much of our inner turmoil. These aren't just quaint ancient rituals. They are powerful, relevant tools for navigating the chaos of the 21st century. They remind us that peace isn't something we find out there by getting more or achieving more. It's a quality we cultivate inside. It comes from shifting our perspective, from simplifying, from paying attention, and from learning to let go. The journey through Japan's meditative arts shows us that the path to tranquility isn't about adding more to our lives, but about stripping away the non-essential to find the peace that is already. They're waiting patiently just beneath the noise. Thank you for joining us on this journey at Whispering Past for Sleep. If these ideas offered you a moment of clarity or peace, please like this video and subscribe for more explorations into timeless wisdom for modern life. We would love to hear from you. Which of these ancient practices resonated with you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're interested in diving deeper, we have a whole playlist on mindfulness practices that you can check out next. Until next time, be present and be well.